Hey there, MTNZ. I'm back and ready to once again chew the fat. And I'm so excited because today I'm joined by a longtime friend, Kristian, who is home in Nelson from doing amazing things all around the world with this little musical called Rocky Horror Picture Show. So, hi, Kristian.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. So, welcome back to New Zealand. I know that you love coming back to Nelson and taking
I
lots of
do.
photos.
It's one of my favorite places on the planet, so it's always good to be here.
And of course, you were coming home, but now you're here for longer.
Yeah, I literally just finished up doing a tour of Rocky Horror in South Africa, and I was there for about 4 or 5 months. And then the tour finished just before the borders of New Zealand closed. So I was coming back here anyway to visit for about, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks, I guess. But now I have no idea how long I'm here for. But yeah, but I feel very lucky that everything worked out timing wise for me to actually get back here easily. Because
Definitely.
if the show had just gone on in South Africa 2 or 3 weeks longer, then I very easily could have been, stuck there perhaps. And, in these situations, you really want to be stuck at home and not in a foreign country.
That's for sure. So tell us, for people that don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about you.
Like you said, my name is Kristian Lavercombe. That's the question I should get right. And I'm an actor who has been just going with the flow. Actually, I started at the Court Theatre in Christchurch, and basically just did plays there actually, and didn't do many musicals at all. And I do the occasional musical here and there. And then I think I'd been with my agent for several years, and he said to me, "Oh, we've got an audition for something, but they're going to need for you to sing. And do you sing?" And I knew it was a bit worrying when I'd been with my agent for 7 years and he didn't know I could sing. But yeah, so now it's flipped around where now I basically just do musicals. And the grass is always green. You go, "Oh, wouldn't it be amazing to do a play?" And in the days when I was doing a play, wouldn't it be amazing if I could do a musical? But I've just been plodding along as a working actor, and I've been doing it quite a while, probably way too many years than I'm going to admit to. But yeah, it's been going well, and I have fulfilled the ambitions that the teenage actor or the teenage student hoped for. So I've been working in lots of different countries, working in Australia and the UK, and like I said, South Africa, and ended up on the West End, which was one of my bucket lists things. And yeah.
So tell me, I actually was doing an interview just the other day with another dear friend of ours, Mike, and we were of course talking about 22 years ago, which was your first Rocky Horror.
Yes, I must have been about 5 when I did that. It's
know.
amazing for them to, allow a child to play Frankenfurter. But yeah, that was lots of fun, wasn't it? That was so much fun. And in Nelson, and that was my first Rocky Horror, and it really set me up. I think I've been in about 12 productions of Rocky Horror since then, maybe even more. I've lost count a little bit.
You've lost count a little bit of that cap that you wear in the Guinness Book of Records.
Oh yeah. That's more to do. I don't think that's the production. So that's more to do with the amount of shows that seem to have just crept up on me. I think it's about 1800 or something like that now.
And so tell me, if you thought about those 1800 shows, favorite country to have performed in and to perform the role in?
To be honest, every country is different because yeah, obviously I've done it a lot. I've done a few different productions in New Zealand, smaller productions, but so some of those productions were very special to me because I was still discovering who I was as an actor, and I was still learning about Rocky Horror. And but there's something amazing about the UK audiences. They are so dedicated to Rocky Horror, like beyond dedicated. It is a way of life for them. They keep on going whether the show is running or not. So they're almost like a social club, a very, very large social club in the UK. And, they've been dedicated to the show for, decades and decades. They've been coming to see the show. The show's, 46 or 47 years old now. And some of those people have been seeing it since they were young. So, it's such an amazing thing to go and see, go out on a Friday or Saturday night on stage, and you will be looking, maybe playing in a place that seats 2,000 people, and every single person will be dressed up, and every single person will know all the words. And with Rocky Horror, there's, unlike other shows, it's got call outs. So the audience call out, and there's something amazing about hearing those people. They know all the call outs as well, so they become almost the most important part of the most important role in the show, and sometimes their lines are insanely funny and very inventive, and it has a life of its own. It grows and grows and grows, and I don't know any other show like that. And I think that is what has kept me stimulated and entertained, and has kept me going with the show for all this time. And yeah, they're just beyond there. Like, they're covered in Rocky Horror tattoos, and even on the coldest day of the year, and say it'll be blizzarding of snow, with snow outside the stage door, there will be groups and groups and groups of people in their fishnet tights, just standing there waiting for the cast. And it's just beyond. It's not really something we have in New Zealand culture that I'm aware of. Like, people don't really wait for the actors at stage door, but it is a tradition in the UK. And yeah, when I first went there, it was quite unnerving. I didn't really know how to react to that, because I'm naturally a reasonably shy person. So you realize that your job doesn't actually finish when the show comes down. Your job finishes after you've left stage door, because that is an important bit of it.
I think it's becoming more of a tradition, I feel, in New Zealand now that there's so travel to overseas, and an understanding of Broadway and West End is definitely becoming a bigger thing, with programs like Broadway Dreams and Junior Theatre New Zealand. I think there's more kids understanding it, and it's the younger generation that you sometimes see outside the back door of the Civic waiting for their signatures.
Oh, right. Yes.
So you'd probably notice that if you were to perform back here again.
All right. And I think it's probably grown, that side of things has probably grown with all the Comic-Con kind of culture and the cosplay culture as well, of, people dressing up and getting their things signed by the original people. I think it's probably grown from that as well. Yeah. Even overseas, it's grown because of that. Yeah.
So thinking back to like you said, you started with the court theatre, that was your professional gigs, but training wise, you of course you were one of the first NASDA students.
Yes, I was. And I didn't really know what I was getting into at that point. I actually wanted to, when I was in high school, I always thought I would be a painter or an artist of some kind. And I Yeah, I literally just heard about NASDA on the Friday. I auditioned on the Sunday, and the course started on the Monday. So, there wasn't much time to think about anything really. So that door opened, and I just went through it. And I think one of my skills, more than anything else, actually, is just going through doors and seeing what's on the other side. So, or basically just going with the flow. So I went to NASDA then, and actually the training was really amazing for me, not because of what I learned there. The training at that time was really amazing to me from all the people I met there, and it's literally where the people I met were the people who ended up employing me and giving me the opportunities to get started. And then actually I classed the court theatre as, it was almost like an apprenticeship for me. It's where I found I learned much better on the job rather than in a classroom. And for me personally, and but that was possibly my age as well. I was only 17, so it was, I was a little bit, I think I was a little bit fresh to sort of maybe understand a lot of the things that they were trying to teach me. However, but instinctually it all made sense to me. So, when somebody put me in a production and they put me in a character, or, then that's when my instinct kicked in and gave me the opportunity to learn all those things that they had been telling me at NASDA.
Fantastic. So thinking about your journey, who has been inspirational or memorable to you along your journey?
Well, at the very beginning, actually, there were lots of people who give me lots of opportunities. But when I was just a teenager and doing amateur shows, then I was certainly helped and influenced by directors around the place, like Brian Aitken and Duncan Whiting, who used to do lots of amateur productions all over the country, actually, and they were very skilled. And in those days, the directors were very good at teaching. They were very good at teaching their casts how to work. And actually, I've worked with Brian Aiken a lot over the years, and he's very skilled at teaching people, teaching the casts how to do stuff. But then at high school as well, there were teachers there that were really important in pushing me into the right areas. And so yeah, a guy called Chris Lukes and Bruce Martin, they were very good at pushing me forward. But really, when it came to professionally, Elric Cooper, who ran the Court Theatre in the outset, when I was there, he came from a very old school way of theatre, and I don't mean that in a derogatory term. It was just a very British traditional rep kind of theatre where you had a company, and and he was very well, actually, I think he's possibly one of the most knowledgeable people I've ever met. But he was very hard on his actors, but a lot of the things I pride myself with now, I learned from him.
Oh.
So so he was very he played a big part, especially because I was so young. I was still just a teenager when I started the Court Theatre. Then I was in a very formative kind of place. So I just learned a lot, and there were such amazing actors at the Court Theatre who were still around there, actually. Eilish Moran was one of them, and Yvonne Martin was another. And learning from them was really amazing, because something that really stuck with me was they are so skilled. I think they're world class. I really think they are some of the best actors I've ever seen anywhere, and they were really nice, and they were really easy to work with. And I think that's an important part of being an actor, is being easy to work with. Actors get a bad rep of being these drama kind of queens that act up, but actually I think those types of actors are in such a minority, and yeah, they're certainly not the people who people want to work with. So, and there's some brilliant people out there who are nice to work with, and I think that's the way forward for everything, really.
Yeah.
Life's
So
too
tell us, what are you doing with yourself and Nelson to keep yourself creative?
It's a really good question, because I have done the majority of it so far without my laptop. And because I've been on the road now for, I don't think I've lived anywhere since 2012. And I've literally been on tour for nearly that entire time. And when you're on tour that long, you can't have the normal things that you would have. Like, you can't have all these different things with you that you can do. So my entire creative life, basically, over the years has gone onto my laptop. But my laptop died the moment I hit the country.
Oh
But
no.
I know, so it's been a little bit of a struggle, but I think it was just telling me to just stop everything, because normally I always have to be doing a million different projects, and yeah, so I had no choice but to stop. But it wasn't easy. It really wasn't easy. I was like, no. But luckily the new laptop has just turned up, so I'm currently catching up on all the boring stuff, and as soon as I got through all the boring stuff, which is a necessity, I have to do them, and I figure, do them first, to get all the boring stuff out of the way, then after that I will get into recording some songs probably, and maybe yeah, maybe might record some music videos or something like that, and which is what I was planning on doing while I was here anyway. So
Beautiful.
yeah,
No,
so that's my plan. I think it's good to just go with the flow and see what happens. I'm actually the sort of person, I'm happy as long as I'm doing anything creative, and it doesn't actually make any difference what that is. I could just as easily be making something in the garage to singing a song or doing. It doesn't really make any difference to me. I'm happy like that.
So
Yeah.
if people want to follow you and find out a little bit more about you, what can they be doing?
Well, the first port of call is probably Instagram, because I think that's where I spend most of my time online these days, is on Instagram, and it's Kristian.Lavercombe, I think is my username. I think it is. Yeah, that's probably the main place, and they can probably find more about my history as an actor, though, on my website. If they just go to KristianLavercombe.com.
And of course, on your website, you've recently been selling things as well. Every now and then you go through your little time of selling off Rocky Horror memorabilia, or maybe a theatre porn calendar, or wigs of Rocky Horror.
Yeah, I've always got projects on the go on the side, and last year in the UK, I toured to probably at least 50 different theatres that I was working in, and so I decided to have my side project and some of those theatres are some of the most beautiful theatres in the world. So I decided my side project was every week I would I do a photo shoot, because I also studied as a photographer. I would do a photo shoot of the auditorium, because I'm in the privileged position, like I get to see these theatres with nobody else in them. So so I did that, and at the end of it, I released a few calendars there at the end as well, which were really popular, which was, it's always very nice. It's always a lot more work than you imagine doing those things. I go, oh yeah, I'll do that, it'll be easy. But then I was like, sleepless nights getting it all done. But yeah, so I released one of those. Oh, you had one.
I have one.
Oh, brilliant. I remember now.
Yeah.
Yes, and there was a funny Rocky one as well. But everything I do, in many ways, because I've been so immersed in Rocky Horror for such a long time, then most things I do end up having a little Rocky Horror filter to them. So
Definitely.
Yeah, so they've been lots of fun. And I think, like I say, I think it's good in these times when we are isolated, we don't necessarily have everything we would normally have around us. I think it's good to learn other things and learn other skills and, open your mind to doing, going, oh, I've always wanted to try that. I'm just going to give it a go. And yeah, and that's what I've been doing along the way as well, because, life's too short. For me, life's too short to stick to one thing. I want to experience lots of different things.
Definitely.
So yeah, photography has been a big one for me recently, and but yeah, who knows what this year's going to have in store, because life is suddenly all churned up in a way that all the things I was expecting to do this year aren't going to be happening. So, and I'm in a country I wasn't expecting to be in. So, I am going to have to find lots of new things to keep me creatively stimulated. But I think that's really exciting. Who knows?
Definitely.
Who knows what things are going to be created by the time we all come out of this? Yeah.
That's for sure. Well, thank you so much for giving us your time, and for being in New Zealand, for representing New Zealand so well everywhere you go. Yay. And MTNZ members, get out there, follow Kristian, and you never know, one day we might get a recap of Rocky Horror through New Zealand, so you get the experience of seeing how amazing he is, whether he be Frankfurter, whether he play Riff Raff, or these days even the narrator. And I look forward to seeing you next time on Chewing the Fat.
Bye.